The HCAM staff is back in the studio, and they recently hosted a live edition of the Hopkinton Hangout Hour. Guests included Fire Chief Stephen Slammin.
The fact that we had such a low rate of COVID and that Station 2 isn't ideally positioned as I keep looking at it and deciding what to do. And I'm just taking it on a week-by-week basis, and I'll just kind of update the community as I go. There's a chance that we would bring the groups back to the station. I have to refurbish engine 4, which is my only pumper that actually fits in that building.
That's right, yeah.
So I am refurbishing that in a few weeks, so I'll really give it a hard evaluation then, and I'll just see where COVID is then. And it's like all the decisions we made in COVID. We'll take the data, see what's in front of us. If COVID is stayed low, I may bring everybody back here, because operationally we can cover the town a little better from here than from Woodville. It's just not in an ideal spot. It's okay, but it's not ideal. And I know for the residents of Woodville, that stinks when I say that, but it's a rural area. And, 9 out of their 10 responses is they're coming back towards this facility. So that's just not advantageous for us.
Right. Would it be having a station on the west side would probably better if you went more south and get onto like the West Main Street side of things? That would probably do you a little bit better.
Yeah, in our public safety study, we've done a lot of work there. We know the hot spot is right downtown. Like I told you in the past, the people before me picked a really ideal location for a fire station. And so there's a little activity to the east. Luckily, they put a lot of safety systems by sprinklering all the residents that whether it's Fairview Estates, whether it's all of the legacy units, they all have fire protection sprinklers, and we have a pretty good shot down East Main Street to get there, so our times are really good. And more of the activity is towards 495 and West Main Street. That's really where the computer tells us the next improvement is, and where there's likely to be some more development in the future. So again, it's stuff we keep assessing. We keep looking at the data. I'm working with the town manager right now. We have a consultant that we still reference. We're looking at, the town doesn't really have any ideal land for us to go to. So that's kind of our short story, and we're looking hard there. And we're trying to put more supportive data together so that if we have an ask of the community, we can bring that to them in an informed way.
In the second part of the show, we talked with Abby Rosenberg from the Mental Health Collaborative.
We're so excited about the work we're doing, about the need for it. I'm as you know, I'm so passionate about it, and we're really making a lot of inroads both in schools and communities, educating people in businesses, and just having those conversations about mental health and trying to decrease the stigma so that people don't have to suffer silently, which has been the case for years and years.
Now, do you find that your work in schools has become easier? Is the younger generation more open and more willing to talk about and share experiences and grow together? Or do you find that there's a challenge still getting through and getting open with that?
I think the challenge of getting into schools is much more difficult than the kids being open to it. We were fortunate enough to get a grant to go into Hopkinton Middle School and some of the students in the high school in 9th grade this past year, and we did our curriculum with the remote students. And the feedback we got was tremendous. We're still looking at the quantitative hard data to get real results, but the qualitative and data and the feedback that we got from students was overwhelmingly positive, and they all across the board are so hungry for this information. They want to talk about it, and they want to learn what is mental illness, what is not mental illness, and what can we all do to fight the stigma so that people don't have to bear these things alone, just like they would never bear having asthma alone.
Now, that's a really, really important statement that you said when you say that the schools are telling you we want to know what is mental illness and what is not mental illness. Are you dealing directly with teachers who are working with that? Is it admin, nurses, guidance counselors? How does it work?
Well, it's kind of in my case, just getting in however we can. So, of course, Hopkinton is close to my heart. I know the Hopkinton schools and love the Hopkinton schools. And so we are going to be training Hopkinton middle and high school educators this summer to bring this particular mental health literacy curriculum into the schools. So that is excellent news. It's been hard in some schools to get to know who to talk to and to get our program in, because people are just so burnt out. They are trying to do so much. People are across the board anxious about going back to schools and jobs in general. So there's a lot of different emotions going around, and we're just doing our best to get this information into as many schools, as many communities, and as many organizations, corporations as we can, because everyone really does need it. As it turns out, not only in Hopkinton, we just had a training with Framingham Public Schools for their summer school, which was awesome. And we have an upcoming training, believe it or not, in a district in Minnesota.
Wow.
In a district in Wisconsin. So I guess, silver lining of this crazy pandemic is that now we are prepared to do our trainings virtually. So we can virtually go anywhere in the United States or in the country.
You can see the full edition airing on HCAM and on our YouTube page.